Here on Indie Style, we'll feature successful entrepreneurs from across the globe who are making incredible strides in their industry. You may not know their names yet, but you soon will. I'm Leah DeVon, and this is Indie Style. Hello and welcome to Indie Style. I am your host, Leah DeVon. Well, today we have a wonderful show planned. You are going to meet Kathie Johnson. She is the founder and CEO of Right On Girl, LLC, and the IamKathieJ brand. Kathie R. Johnson, she is a published author, and she's also a motivational speaker. Kathie is the author of the inspirational work of nonfiction, Overcomer, A Medical Miracle, and two profound works of fiction, The First Storm and Forgive Me for My Sins. So please welcome to the show, Kathie Johnson.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I really, truly am.
I'm so excited too because, I tell you, we are both from the Gulf Coast, grew up in the same area. And You know what? It is always so awesome when you see people, from your hometown area really doing wonderful things in their industry. And I don't have a lot of authors.
Oh.
Mikey, I don't know. We've had, not really a lot of authors. So I was really excited, and I've been watching you grow your brand and following you on social media. And the one thing I want to tell you that I really love is your positivity.
Oh, thank you.
Such a positive person. And I think that, it just literally jumps off the screen how positive you are. I like that you celebrate other people. And I think that that's just a really beautiful thing about you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And again, before we even get started, I just want to tell you again, thank you so much for this amazing, beautiful opportunity. I'm humbly grateful to you and your team at Indie Style. You all have made this so easy for me to be able to get prepared. So thank you. And I am so proud of you and so in awe of you. So to be here is an honor.
You are so sweet. No,
thank you.
Like I said, and I have a great team. I'm really very blessed. And, I am just so excited to learn about you. Like I said, I've been following your career and I get little nuggets and pieces, but I was like, I need to bring her on the show. So let's go ahead and let's just jump right in. Okay. So tell me, what inspired your love of writing? How did you even get into the business of writing?
Yes. So I've actually been writing since I was a little girl. I've always loved reading and I've always loved writing. I'm telling you, when I was little, I see a piece of paper, I see a pen and I get it in my hand and I just wanted to write something. And there was always little stories running around in my head. I'd sit and I'd observe people and I could sit for hours, observe somebody, right? And I could create an entire story about them. So I just started writing for fun is what it actually started out to be. And then as time grew on, I grew up and then the more I read and I started reading books and sometimes I changed the characters in the book that I was reading, or I changed the ending. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't have done it like that. Or I wouldn't have read it like that. So I wanted to write books that I would enjoy reading. So that's when I started writing short stories, again, just for fun, for writing contests, just to see what I could do. And so one day I just challenged myself and I said, you know what, Kathie, if you can write a 2,500 word short story, why don't you see what you can do and stretch it out to a novel? Why don't you, stretch these characters, stretch the storyline and see what happens? And that's how my book, The First Storm, was born. It started out just as a bit of a short story. And that's exactly what I did with it. I just expounded on some of the scenes that I was writing and some of the, the storyline, and just grew and grew and grew. And next thing I know, I have a beautiful, amazing manuscript that turned into a wonderful novel for me.
That is so amazing. So you you were that girl teachers liked,
Yes.
that likes her, right? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. I get an assignment to do like a book report or an essay, and I'm telling you, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it so much that even sometimes my friends and other students, they would be like, "Can you write this for me?"
No, that is wonderful. I like that, and I often hear, like, when I have guests that come on the show, some will say they kind of figured out what they wanted to do later in life. And you're like, I just
Exactly.
kind of knew really early on, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to write. I love that you love to write. My little boys are always like, is that enough? Is this good?
Hey, my son was the exact same way. He thought a couple of sentences got it done.
He's like, this is good. I
Yeah.
was like, yes, sir. But I love that you knew what you wanted to do. So let's kind of like, you were kind of explaining it a little bit, but I want to kind of jump in a little bit more. Like, what is the process, to like write a book and then to get it published? Okay. Tell us that, for how do you do that?
Exactly. So for me, it's that, again, it's that story that's in my head. It's that story that's in my heart. And if you have the gift and you really truly you love to write, you love to read, you've got to get that thing out. It can't stay. It cannot stay within you. So to get it published, you first start with your manuscript. Go ahead, you write your manuscript, write your first draft. Don't be afraid of it, because the first draft is always, to me, the toughest. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to write that first draft and it's going to look a little squirrely. It's going to have some, some different moving pieces and parts to it, but that's okay. I'd say put it away probably for about 2 weeks, pick it up again and polish it off. And then once you do that, I would suggest that you get it over to a professional editing team. That is exactly what I did with my very first manuscript. And I am so blessed to partner with Jonathan Miller of iFlow Creative. He's a fantastic editor. His team is amazing. I was very new at this publishing thing. And with Jonathan, he took my manuscript, he looked it over, gave it to his team to do some really good professional editing for me, got it back to me. I took care of all those rewrites. We talked about it. And at first I felt like with the professional editor, I was kind of hesitant because I'm like, they're going to change my whole story. They're going to make me just rewrite everything. No. Jonathan's team really respected my work. They still do. And we actually have a conversation. If there's going to be any changes, they always ask, well, Kathie, what made you have the character do this? Let's try this angle right here. Or if you want to change a paragraph or change a sentence or something along those lines, I'm always involved in that process. So then after that, we get that rewrite back to them, and they do a fabulous job of taking care of formatting my book, putting my manuscript into book form. And they also partner with Crystal Green of KP Design. She does all my beautiful covers. Shout out to you, Crystal. Thank you so much. And again, I'm still involved in that process. She will send back suggestions for me. She'll send cover templates for me. She'll even ask me, Kathie, what is it you want this cover to do? How do you want this cover to represent the story? So she and I talk about that. I sometimes get her photo stock samples, and then we just come together collaboratively and we come up with the cover. And then once that's done, Jonathan sends it back to me for approval, and he does all the rest of the legwork, getting everything onto Amazon, uploaded on there for me. And then we get those beautiful books mailed out to me and off to the readers. So that's pretty much the process that we do to get it published.
Wow, that is awesome. I like how you explained it. I'm like a 5-year-old. I was like,
and I hope I didn't go too fast for anyone
a lot of people don't realize, that want to write like you. The world has changed in such a good way, meaning that, you don't have to have a big publisher
right
in New York City or any, and whatever to get your works out there, because with the wave of the world and how technology is, you really are your own business. You can be your own independent entrepreneur, author, have your own publishing of your own books and your rights, and get it out there. And I love that, for you guys, if you've, I'm hoping, I know that you guys are going to go and go on Amazon, but she's like a 5-star Amazon author, and people, when they're behind their computer screens, they don't care, they say. So that says a lot about your work, because I remember, and what I want to do is I want to have Mikey pull up some of your book covers. And
Excellent.
I have one of your books too.
Yay!
And I
Yes,
remember
that's one of my babies.
when you released it, and I went right on Amazon, and it had already, had reviews on it. But tell us, okay, so this is Overcomer. Tell us a little bit about this book. Is this a nonfiction? There's some more. Go around and tell us about Mikey pulled up a couple things.
Awesome. Yes, those are all three of my beautiful book covers for my books that were actually released this year. So I'll start with Overcomer. Yes, Overcomer is a work of nonfiction, Overcomer, a Medical Miracle. And this book is a personal testimony. In the year of 2018, I happened to have a medical situation so it was a mishap of a surgical procedure. And what that did was it led to a very rare medical condition. Leah, I tell you, this medical condition was so rare that in the first hospital that I was admitted into, there was only one doctor and only one nurse in the entire hospital who had ever heard of this. And I was getting questions like, this thing is so rare. They said, have you been to a third world country? Have you spent time abroad in a country that may not have had access to good medical care? And those answers were no, absolutely not. They had to even do some research. Finally, I had to go and see a specialist down in Gainesville, Florida. And I was able to partner with a doctor who was familiar with this medical condition. And from there, we had several hospital visits. We had multiple surgeries. So in this book, I take the reader through my journey from day one of when this situation happens, all the way up to, it should probably stop around the year 2020. And that was on my road to recovery. When I tell you that I am a walking miracle, and I give my God all of the praise, because I was a very, very sick woman. And there were times when even the medical team that was taking care of me, it mystified them so much. Some of them didn't think I would make it. There were days sometimes where I didn't think I would make it. And without giving the full book away, I assure you, it is a journey that is really, really going to show you just the power, the healing power, that God places on the inside of us. And I am here today, a living witness. And I assure you, today I look so much different. The physical abilities that I have that have been restored back unto me, every day, I am so humbly blessed. And sometimes it amazes me, because there was a great deal of time. There were months that I was bedridden. I could not go outside of my home. I could not I couldn't even sleep in a bed. I had given up my bed for almost a year because Oh yeah, because I could only sleep on a sofa, and in the book you'll find out why. You talk about hospital visits. I mean, I know the ins and outs of a hospital, probably way more than some interns do right now. But there were multiple hospital visits, and there were multiple doctor's visits, and there was even a time where I had to be quarantined in my home, and I had to be quarantined for 4 weeks. I was quarantined for 2 weeks in the hospital. And then once I got home, I had to be quarantined again. So Overcomer, as I said, this is my personal testimony. And I wrote this testimony. I'll tell you, I initially started keeping these notes and so forth in a medical journal. And it was for my son, because I wanted my son to know, I wanted him to know how hard I fought to make sure that I stayed here for him.
Yeah.
And I wanted him to know exactly what happened to me in case I didn't make it, because that way he would always have it with him, the love that I have for him.
Right.
And the sacrifice and everything that I endured, because I was really determined. I was hoping and praying that I would make it through, and I would make it through for my baby. So once I thank you. Once I did, and I made it through, and as I said, I'm here. I just felt it in my spirit, and I said, this was not for me. I didn't go through this just for Kathie and my son. Somebody out there needs to hear my story. Somebody out there needs to know that God is still in the miracle business and that you fight your way through it. You listen to your medical professionals, you keep your faith, and you will make it through. And so far, there was the reception that I've had from this story so far. I have had so many people tell me how inspired they are. And so many people look at me and they're so in awe of everything that I endured. And then to see me today. So, yes.
So happy. Oh
yes.
Yes. So you guys, you definitely make sure I can see. Do good.
Yeah, please
put it up there.
Yes, if you don't read anything else this year, read that one.
And it's so interesting because and I was telling my husband, I said, before life got so busy and when COVID hit and everybody was just in a space of trying to figure out day to day. I mean, I used to read a lot. And then I was like, I'm gonna literally I haven't purchased a lot of books lately, but I'm going to read it. And I wanted to hear you tell me about your story. Cause I mean, I read, the back of your book and I, read your introduction and I was, reading about, your chapters when I first got it. And I was like, okay, this is gonna make me sad. But I know you're happy and you're here and it's
I am.
And that is just, it's insane to me that something that shouldn't have happened that led to what all you had to go through and how people should be grateful to just get up every day.
That's exactly right. Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean? Like how we complain about to just go for a jog and you said you were bedridden and you had to do all these things. That is just insane.
Yes. I am so appreciative of a beautiful bed.
Here you are. So let's change gears just a little bit. Tell me a little bit about the last book. What's the latest book in addition to the that we can?
So then I move over to my creative writing side, and then we have The First Storm, and we have Forgive Me for My Sins. Both of these are novels. Both of these are just totally beautiful, made up stories. My creative side flows. Now, The First Storm is a book about Aubrey Jordan and her family. They are a devout Christian family. Life is really going well for Aubrey. And the only thing that Aubrey really wants, because she has everything else, is she just wants a husband. She wants a baby. She wants her own family. So she does what, we people of faith do. We pray about it. And she does. She gets her blessing. In the midst of her blessing, though, a tragedy happens. And tragedy strikes, and it strikes so hard that it rocks her world. Ooh. And Aubrey, because she's led such a sheltered life and everything has just always been basically perfect for her, she does not know how to handle it. And she handles it in a pretty adverse way. But the beauty of it is this destruction, this destructive act that occurs in her life actually leads her to something even more beautiful. I can't give it away, but it does. It leads to something that she nor her entire family, a huge, huge secret that has been kept in the family. And it was actually a secret that a lot of them didn't even know about. And it is brought to the fore. And in the end, it's a beautiful story. You got to read it for yourself.
These are like so good.
Yes. And another piece of inspiration there. I believe it's inspirations for families. I believe it's inspirations for anyone that's going through something to know. I always tell people the beauty of the storm, because the storms are going to come, but the beauty of the storm is that rainbow at the end. So you have to hang on. Yes, you have to hang on. Got to keep that faith and get through the storm, because it will be beautiful in the end.
I like the positivity.
Yes. Oh yes. Gotta have that. Yeah, because I don't want someone to get a book and it's all, down and down and down. It's like, oh my goodness.
Just like, really?
That's exactly right. The world, there's so much other down in the world. I want to give you something to lift you up. So my book, Forgive Me for My Sins, it's another family saga. Now, this family is a totally different family. This is a family who does not have a lot of faith in a higher power. This is a family who they believe in money, and their power is going to save them.
Okay.
And this is a family, unfortunately, they have to learn the hard way. They have to learn the hard way the cost of actually betraying each other, betraying their trust, betraying their loyalty,
Mm-hmm.
committing sins. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean some unspeakable sins against
Right.
each other. It's not even the external factors that are bringing them down and that just tries to destroy this family. It's all from the inside.
Oh,
So this is the story of the Devereaux, and the scene is set in Chicago, Illinois. And yes, again, they learned the hard way the wages of their sins and what it could do to destroy their family. Again, as all my stories, it does have that beautiful ending, but you gotta go along with the journey in order to
okay.
get there to the end. Now, I have to tell you,
Okay.
this book is very, very different from the first storm. So I
Okay.
just don't want anyone to be deceived by the cover, because again, I always say never judge a book by its cover. But
True.
it's a great story. It's so far I have had so much positive feedback about it, and again, be inspired, be entertained, and
Right.
be informed.
Okay. I love this. I love this. So, wow. That is it's exciting because like I said, you've kind of figured out early on what you wanted to do. You're like, and it's so interesting. Many, many years ago, Oprah was, doing something. I remember she was talking about people like just trying to get into what it is that they want to do. And I
Mhm.
remember she said something to the effect of, if there's something that you want to do, you just need to get to the business of making it happen.
Right.
Period.
That's
Get to
right.
to making it happen. And I like that, this is what you're doing. And, you're continuing to just create these wonderful stories to share with everybody. But let me ask you this. Like, have you ever had any challenges trying to get these books out, or as you were doing this, have you had any challenges or?
Oh, yes. Yes, I have. So I am a self-published author today. Now, when I first started out, I only understood that I needed to connect with the big five top publishing houses, the
Mhm.
Simon and Schuster's, the Harper Collins, the Random House, all those great folks up in New York City and beyond, right? So
Mhm.
here I am, just little, novice. I'm writing these great stories,
Mhm.
and I am looking for a literary agent. I
Mhm.
am trying to send my books to these top five publishing houses, and I start getting some rejection letters. And I
Mhm.
got quite a few rejection letters. I even got
Like,
into the point,
that's
yes, I even got rejection letters to the point where I started to feel really down about myself, and I started questioning my own skills and abilities. So I was sharing this information with a friend of mine one day, and he said to me, he said, Kathie, he said, why don't you try self-publishing? And I'm
Mhm.
like, well, what do you mean? Like I have to, write the book and I have to bind it together. I'm thinking is that process. And he says, no, he says, I have another friend who wanted to do the same thing, and she was running into some roadblocks, and she self-published. So got on the online, Googled so much information about self-publishing, and realize that with self-publishing, first and foremost, it's going to cost you some money in order to do that, because you're doing everything yourself. So
Mhm.
I started saving my money, putting money away, and tucking here and there. And that's exactly what I did. I got everything together and partnered. I had one self-publishing company that helped me,
Mhm.
and started with them. And then I got introduced to, again, Jonathan Miller of iFlow Creative, who
Mhm.
helped me with that next process.
Mhm.
So yes, and now I look at it and it's like I am so thankful that I self-published, because
Of
again, it's
course.
my copyright, my
Sure.
story. It's mine. It's mine. I don't, I don't owe anybody, a number of books every quarter. I don't owe anybody anything. It's all me, and I love it. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna self-publish for quite a long time. Yeah.
Right. Because as you're building your brand and growing,
Yes.
and with it, which it's Kathie J. Tell me
Yes.
the name of your company
Yes.
one more
The
time.
the
Kathie.
actual brand is I Am Kathy J.
Right.
Yes.
Love it.
Exactly. There she is.
That
Yeah.
is
So that's my beautiful logo. And yes, it is. And my business manager and I, Rhonda P. Hines, actually is my manager,
Mhm.
and she and I came up with the I Am Kathy J brand because she was challenging me, and she says, Kathy, she says, what do you want your readers? What do you want your audience? What do you want your followers? What do you want them to know about you? What do you want them to see when they see you and when they hear your name? And
Right.
I'm like, I want to give them me. I want to be I want to be as authentic and just show them who I am. And she
Right.
says, that's it right there.
And
I am. And she says, Kathy J.
I love it. She's a good person to
Yes.
know who you were
Yes.
and what
Yes.
you
So
trying to put out there. I love that. Okay. So
exactly.
if you could give like some up and coming, that writer that's like, oh my gosh, what's a tip for success? What's something that you feel is something you could tell somebody
All
trying
right.
to
I'm gonna put it out there. The
put it out?
very first thing that you must do is it's a one word. Believe. You
Ah,
gotta believe. Yeah,
mm,
you can dream it all day long, but you got to believe it. Okay. You believe in a higher power, you believe in your God, and you must believe in yourself. You must wake up every day and say to yourself, I can do this.
mm,
Girl or guy, I got this. Okay. And then put in the work. Okay. Success does not happen for those who sleep and slumber. You must put in the work. And
right.
that's learning your craft as much as you possibly can, learning your industry. It's networking with amazing people and
Mm.
making those right connections. Keep your faith and just hustle hard and keep going at it because it does line up and it does work out for you and success will be yours.
I love that. And that's so a part of like, Mikey and I always get excited when, the tip for success, because we get really great tips for success that everybody can apply to what they're doing. Because when you are an independent entrepreneur, and
Right.
I say, the motto of our show is, doing it indie style, you really have to figure out how you're going to grow your brand,
Mm-hmm.
what works best for you. And I like that. You really do have to have faith in yourself and what you're
Yes.
those are really, really, and put yourself out there, work. It's an effort. You got
Right.
to work. Nobody's going to
That'll
just,
work.
here's your prize. Here you go. So
Yeah.
you really do have to put
Oh
yourself
yeah.
out
Oh, and
there.
it's a beautiful feeling. It really, really is.
Well, I am just, incredibly proud of what you're doing because your work is really good. And like I said, you guys, when you go on Amazon and you type in her name, um, phenomenal reviews, and that's what people do look for, is if they're going to purchase something, they want to know what other people honestly think. And like I said, people behind computers nowadays, they just put whatever they want in space. But I love that, you're going to continue to write. We're going to follow
Right.
your career. And thank you so much. Where can we find you on social media?
Absolutely. You can find me on all social media handles: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn at I am Kathy J. I have two Facebook pages, Kathie, Kathie Johnson. And of course, you can find me on Amazon.com. You can also find me at my website, and that is, yes, www.Kathie, Kathie hyphen Johnson.com. So yes, be sure to follow me. I try my best to comment favorably back to my followers. And again, I love interacting as much as I possibly can, and I do my best to post as much as I can. So
Well,
yes, please follow me. And if you love to read, or even if you just love to gift somebody with some books, please do it. I promise you they will be richly blessed as well.
oh, well, thank you so much for coming on. And we are going to celebrate you and continue
Aw.
to celebrate your success. So continued success
Yes.
and creativity and all that you do. Thank you so much for coming on my show today.
Oh, you are so welcome, Leah. And thank you again to you,
Welcome.
your team. Awesome. And much success back to you, my love.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Take care, Kathy. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. She is full of like just happiness and joy. And from listening to her story, I see why she's so incredibly inspired. And she's just a good, wonderful person. So I know she's going to continue to do great things in her career and throughout her journey. So, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed our show today. And I want you to sit back and enjoy our Indie Spotlight Artist of the Week. And until next time, I am Leah DeVon. You be well.